Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar today with Nexsan. In today's webinar, we'll be looking at one of the latest technology innovations, the Unity 4000, and look at which of your customers this product is best suited for. We'll also be looking at the various use cases where Nexsan excels, so that you guys can to enable you guys to identify those opportunities within your customer base where you can win with Nexsan. Today, I'm joined by Jonathan Wager and Richard Hornsby from Nexsan, who will walk you through those different topics. Just before I hand over to those guys, all participants are in mute, but we will have a Q&A at the end of the session. So if you do have any questions as we're going through the presentation, please pop them in the Q&A box at the bottom, and we'll address those at the end. With that, I will hand over to Jonathan.
Yeah, thanks, Gavin. Welcome everyone. Good morning. Appreciate everyone jumping on for this session. So yeah, as Gavin said, you've got the dulcet tones of myself and Richard today. Richard's a bit more excited than I am. So just a bit of quick background before we jump into it. So I've been in Nexsan just under a year now. Was in distribution before that for sort of 9 or 10 years. So know the channel fairly well. And then Rich.
Yeah, I've been around for 2 years now. 2 years pre-sales engineer. Before that, though, I've been in the industry. I've been in the industry for many a decade,
I
Jonathan,
was going to say,
despite
you're not
my
just been in the
youthful
industry
looks.
2 years, have you? Yeah. But yeah, no, she's for that. And I've realised I haven't actually put an agenda slide on, but as Gavin helped us out there. So yeah, so what we'll be touching on today, it's not going to be death by PowerPoint. We've only got the 78 slides, but yeah, we'll just be touching on I say who we are. I mean, we've been around a long time, but some of you may not know us. Some of you may know us, and hopefully that's all good things. But I've been told there was maybe a little bad period of Nexsan, so hopefully it's not from that. But we'll touch on the Unity series, the MV series that we've got, the all unified hybrid NAS that's we're really focusing on probably over the last year or so and going forward. We'll touch on where that wins, so different use cases that you guys can obviously pitch out to your customers, and then just a bit around why you'd partner with Nexsan. So we'll get started. We've got a good few people on the call, so yeah, let's go. So right, there we go. So I just thought we'd chuck this in there first. So like I said, Nexsan's been going since 25 years there, but it's 26 years this year. So we're probably the longest standing sort of pure play storage vendor out there. If anyone knows any different, then please let me know. But yeah, we've been going a long time, and it's a real testament to the team that are involved and everyone involved with Nexsan that we're still here and still innovating, like Gavin said. So just some core values that we live by every day. The main one being customer first. Everything we do as a company comes with the end user at the absolute forefront. So whether that's that first initial conversation, scoping call, demo with myself, Richard, or another member of the team, all the way through to the actual build of the unit itself. We weren't touching it today, but we have a very vigorous testing process from the chassis to the drives. I think every time we talk to engineering, it changes to another point. It's now about 250 different testing points they make, and that can last a couple of days. So everything we do is for the customer, and I think that goes hand in hand with the next one, is that all our units are built to last. Sometimes myself and Rich get on calls, and it's a bit of a blessing and a curse when a customer says they've had an old SATA boy for the last 12 years, and we talk about upgrading, and they say no because it just works and it does the job and it's still going. So that's really great, and we're not a vendor, not to name any names, but your 5-year contract comes up and your storage units start breaking. So yeah, so they're absolutely built to last. Enterprise grade class goes into that as well. All the feature sets, we want to see at that higher level. Scalable, we go up from, and Rich will touch on this for the MV series, but we go up from 50 terabytes all the way up to just under 20 petabytes, which is really good. So we can touch all verticals, all use cases. Partnership, so that's not just from From the alliances partnership, so we are doing a lot with, and we'll go through it later, with the backup and backup vendors. Veeams, Commvaults, we're all fully certified. From a DVS standpoint, Milestone, Zenitech, again, all fully certified. So where your customers can be confident that our technology works with other technologies. Also, as well, from a channel point of view, we're 100% channel. So there's no chance of Nexsan taking any deals directly off you guys or working against you. You know, we've got real relationships that have lasted these 25 years, which is great. And then, yeah, data protection and data integrity sort of go hand in hand. And we also offer 24/7 worldwide support. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, it's you'll be covered. So we've got 3 sort of product solutions that we hang our hats on. But we'll be going through the Unity today in more detail. But just quickly, the E-Series is probably what we're known for in the past, what we started with, and that's high density block storage. You know, provides reliable and robust SAN or DAS connected storage. So yeah, our bread and butter, I would say. But again, like I said, we're moving more towards the Unity on the NAS side. Assurion is more of a software play. More of a long-term archiving solution, but it's very, very good for compliance, and it offers complete ransomware protection as well. So in this ever-changing ransomware, I was going to say driven world, hopefully not, that is a really, really great product. And then Unity. So yeah, complete unified hybrid storage, NAS, and what Richard will do is take you through over the next sort of 10 minutes of the Unity technically. So yeah, Rich, over to you.
Thank you very much. Just head to the next slide for me. Okay, so yeah, the Unity range. So what this is for us is our hybrid storage solution. So what I mean by that is it can do block SAN storage. It can do your file system NAS type storage, and it can do object storage as well. And the nice thing is it can do all of those things in a single unit. So it's not like when you fire the thing up and you're configuring it, you have to make a choice, and you don't have to. You can run all 3 of those protocols if you need to. We've had a lot of conversations recently with customers where that focus is actually changing. So at the moment, they may be using it as a file system NAS type storage device, but in the future, they're looking to maybe start using that storage for a backup product that looks for object storage. And it's just nice to know that they don't have to reinvest, they don't have to start again, they can just use the storage that they have in place already. So that's a nice little feature of the Nexsan Unity range. It's very high performing. We have different models, which we'll go through in a few slides, but they kind of go up the sliding scale of performance and obviously cost and value as well. So depending on the use cases and what your customers need and what the applications are, etc., we can cater for those needs. And we do that because we support multiple disks. Okay, so we can do NVMe, we can do SSD, we can do spinning disk as well. They all work hand in hand. Now, we do that with a clever solution that we call fast tier, but ultimately, just to kind of make that a little bit more simple to understand, that's just kind of the caching. Okay, so think of that as the layer of cache, almost like memory that interacts with the outside world. So that could be NVMe, that could be SSD, but underneath that, you can have a layer of spinning disk. So you're getting best of both worlds. You're getting good bang for your buck. You can run petabytes and petabytes of spinning disk, and because of fast tier, you'd increase the performance of that by up to 10 times. Okay, so again, different use cases, different variations. You could maybe have NVMe if it's a really intense I/O application that's needed, and we can go up to millions of IOPS for that. Recently, we've had a customer push the unit to 4.8 million IOPS. We don't actually put that in our marketing. I think we've got it down as 2 million because we're realistic, right? And it's difficult for us to say, oh, you'll definitely get 4.8 million IOPS. You and I both know that's not necessarily the case. Okay, there has to be certain circumstances for that to happen. But that's just to kind of explain what fast tier is. That's the kind of the magic. That's the bit that pushes the performance of these units. And as Jonathan mentioned, ransomware, data protection, all those kind of good things, we have immutable snapshots built into the solution. Okay, you can run those manually. If you've got a bank of data, whether it's a file system or a LUN, you can manually do a snapshot of that. If you want to make it immutable, that's fine, or you can schedule them. Handy if there's particular workload that finishes at the end of the day, you want to take a snapshot in the evening, particularly handy for something like a backup solution or something like that. Okay, so it's important to say that the immutable snapshots, they are fully immutable. It's not immutable-ish. It's not like we're just making that snapshot immutable, but the underlying hardware and file system can simply be deleted. That's not how Nexsan work. Okay, once you've decided to make something immutable, it truly is immutable. It is locked down. You can't then go along and do a factory reset. You can't delete the underlying file system, the RAID system, anything like that is then off limits. So you have to be careful with it. I always say when I'm presenting, don't just set something as 2,000 years, because you're in a world of hurt then. But just be sensible. But it's an important thing to get across that the immutable message from us is a particularly strong. It's a strong message. Okay, so that's brilliant. Thank you very much. Next one, I think. So I've mentioned a lot of this already, but what this slide does is kind of consolidate a few of the key features that are involved in Nexsan Unity. Everything that you'd expect to see, such as replication, high availability, everything that we do is built on dual functionality. Okay, so we've got the dual controllers, we've got the dual power supplies, we've got dual networking, we've got the underlying kind of RAID solution. It's all built on ZFS. This is for the techies. So ZFS is the underlying file system. We take the complexity of that away and we layer on top a nice GUI. So you'll hear me talking about RAID and things like that, but obviously in the world of ZFS, the same but slightly different. Okay, but just so you know, the underlying file system is what we build on top of, and we make that simple to install, administrate, and just use in everyday terms. Okay, but everything that you see on the screen, the immutable snapshots, the object locking, all of the encryption, which is 256 AES, the high performance fast tier, the replication, it's all built into the solution out of the box. So there's nothing on that list that we're going to say, oh, you need to get an extra license for, or, oh no, if you're going to change the network, then you need to tick a box and that box is going to cost you a license fee. There's none of that with Nexsan Unity. What you buy is what you get. Okay, so that's important to mention as well. Now, right at the bottom, there's something called the Asurion connector. We're not going to cover that today. The Asurion connector is, as Jonathan said, the Asurion is more of a software play. It's got a lot of the Nexsan hardware in the background. That's where the kind of the music and the magic happens. But essentially, Asurion is a compliancy archiving tool. Okay, and that build is kind of, it works very well with Unity. It's the whole complete package if you need it. Some nice new things that have come in with the solution, the cloud connector. That was something that was asked for quite a lot by our customers, is the ability to take storage and data that is on-prem on the Unity solution and copy that into the cloud. That could be Glacier, it could be Blob, whatever it may be. Any public cloud provider that you can think of, we can link to that and we can copy data into the cloud. Okay, and another thing we've added is SMB access audit. It seems maybe a bit overkill, but with the likes of GDPR, it just gives you guys visibility of who's accessing what are they doing. It's more of that kind of zero trust architecture type stuff. But those kind of developments, those kind of innovations are the things that just make it a more rounded, complete solution for you guys. Okay. So what we have at the moment is we have the NV6000 and the NV10000. Okay, so the NV6000, which is, it's kind of designed more as a one-stop shop. Okay, so that's why it's for you. There's 60 disk bays in it. Ideal for something like a backup solution or something like that, where you just want to rack and stack it and have the ability to grow within the same unit. So, you're not looking at costs of expansion shelves and scale out and all those kind of horribly expensive things. That with that, you can start with a certain amount of disks. And if you need to expand and grow, you just buy disk packs. Okay. And with the Unity solution, you can just introduce those disks into the storage as it is. You don't need to restart or reconfigure anything or have a separate bank of storage. It will merge into the storage that you've got. And ta-da, the presentation or the application that you're using will instantly recognize that extra capacity. Okay, so the NV6000 is, from a fast tier point of view that I was talking about earlier, is based on SSD technology. Okay, so normally you get around about 54 disk bays for data. and 6 of them are reserved for the fast tier disks. Okay, so that's SSD. So obviously you can fill them with SSD if you want to, expensive, but you can. But normally it would be, the rest would be spinning disk HDDs. Okay, so that's the NV6000. Then we have the NV10000. So this is the more performant unit. This is the one that we can kind of expand to just under 20 petabytes. What you're looking at there is acting more like a header unit. So that's NVMe fast tier. Okay, so this is the thing where we can really push the millions of IOPS if you should wish to do so. So imagine the NV10K, you have your NVMe fast tier. You can use them for data as well. So again, there's 24 disk space in that unit, and we can actually have 30. We currently support the 30.7 terabyte disk. So it's still high density, high capacity. So you could have everything you need in that single header unit. But they're the ones that we can expand with up to 8 expansions, and I'll get to a slide on that later. But just so you know the difference, the 6K SSD fast tier, the 10K is your NVMe fast tier. But if you go to the next slide, this is the new kid on the block. This is kind of the main reason for the webinar today. So we recently introduced the NV4000, and the reason for that is just simply to provide the market with a smaller Unity box. It may be that you haven't got the budget for a 6,000 or a 10,000, and how could we fill that gap? And that's what we've done with the NV4000. So still the same enterprise features that you get with everything else. It's still dual controller, it's still dual power supply, dual networking, everything you'd expect, but you can't expand these boxes. So this is very much the kind of the entry level hardware platform that we're using. But still with Unity, as I've mentioned, all those features that you saw on the previous slides, you have all of that in this particular box. Okay, still bags of performance. You're still talking 750k IOPS, plenty of capacity. If you think of attaching this to a backup solution that is particularly good at doing deduplication or something like that, I mean, 576 terabytes should see you through, a good few years, shall we say. 24 disk bays in there again. A few of those are kind of reserved for fast tier, but ultimately that's what we're introducing, this kind of entry level Unity, this enterprise grade storage solution at high value. Okay, so it's going to give you plenty of value, all the kind of 3-year warranty, 5-year, 7-year support if you need it, and it's there for you. Okay, so I think, is there another one for me? I think there is on expansions. I think, Jonathan, if you go to the next one for me, buddy.
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of jump in with this one there, Rich. It's aimed, like Rich said, is entry level. So I think it starts at 50 odd terabytes raw, I believe, and goes up there to the max capacity of 576. But we're seeing conversations, roughly around the 150 terabyte mark, where, like Rich said, budget might be a bit of constraint, but they still need those features, right? And ransomware is quite a big one. So if you can do the whole immutable snapshotting for, I'm not sure of the price, but it's very, very cost effective, then it's definitely the way to go. And this comes back to the customer first, but if it's an environment of maybe 300, 350, that's when myself and Rich can really scope out and go, right, okay, well, are you looking to expand? Is there going to be, any growth rate where you think, okay, we're making an acquisition in a year, or say it's healthcare and you're bringing on another hospital or another trust? We can then go, right, actually, that 4K might need to be a 6K because of X reasons, right? Like Rich said, you can't expand it. So if you go, right, okay, well, we need another 100 terabytes, 150 terabytes, 6K might be better. But that's where we can come in and really scope out and say, right, what do you need?
Perfect. Thanks, Jonathan. Next slide. So yeah, the expansion units, as we've mentioned as well, so lovingly called the U2 G460 and U2 G478, just rolls off the tongue. Don't do much of the. I'll be honest, we don't do much of the 60s anymore because we don't really see the point in it's still a 4U bay. May as well go for the 78, right? Okay, but what that allows you to do is obviously expand the storage that you have already. So for the 6K, the NV6K, we can expand that with 2 further expansion shelves. Okay, and with the NV10K, as I say, that is the more performant, that's the more kind of capacity model that we have. That can run up to 8 expansions as well. And we've got a fair few customers that are actually doing that. Okay, lots kind of financial institutes, cancer research institutes, where it's massive amounts of data that need that IOPS, need that performance. So everything that you can think of from an enterprise storage platform, we can do all of that, guys. Okay, and we've been doing it for a long time. So hopefully that kind of describes the Unity. Okay. Anything I've missed, Jonathan? All good, I think.
No, cheers, Rich. I mean, and that 8 expansions, that's all on one GUI, isn't it? So you can have just under 20
all on one GUI.
petabytes all on one GUI.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And you can add them, as we said before, so even if further down the line you've outgrown the header unit or whatever you want to call that, then you can just, it's, SAS cabled up and it recognize the discs, you introduce it into the pool and it's there. There's no huge complicated lift and shift type upgrade path with Nexsan.
perfect. So no, cheers, Rich. So yeah, so with just onto some use cases. So we see it in multiple verticals, different use cases, but there's four that we really see it play well in. You've got media and entertainment, primary or secondary hypervisor storage, digital video surveillance, and then and Richard's already mentioned sort of backup and recovery storage. So what I was going to do is just take you through a few different bullet points on these use cases, just so you're aware of where Richard's done the technical bit or the overview on the actual Unity solution itself, but this is where we would look to position it and how we position it. So media and entertainment. So we all know that, or what that is, and we all know the amount of data that media and entertainment will make. But like Rich said, with the high performance piece, Unity is perfect. So high performance heading into post production, it delivers the speed and the need for 4K or 8K video editing. As Rich said, it supports shared file systems. So SMB, NFS for if you're collaborating and editing. And also it's got low latency and high throughput for real-time playback and rendering. So really key for media entertainment. As we just said there, 19.5 petabytes in a single environment unit, whatever you want to call it. So very, very scalable for growing content libraries. We've already covered it before, but data protection with encryption, snapshots, and replication. So we're seeing, I think Sony was the last big leak to happen a good few years ago, but I'm sure people are trying to get the latest films out of media entertainment houses quickly. So this covers that. And then energy efficient and space saving designs for data centers. So I wouldn't, data centers have got racks and racks, but even if you're on a film set, media set, they're not huge units where we can stick in, like Rich said there, 500 terabytes and an NV4K in a 4U space. So not massive amounts of space being taken up. And we've got, a good few media and entertainment customers. We've got a big post-production house in the US that uses Unity to host shared media assets for Adobe Premiere and DaVinci Resolve. I'm not sure what that is, but the media entertainment people might know. And that's for all for their editors working on 8K footage, and they love it. So that's on to the next one. So onto primary and secondary hypervisor storage. So for your production, for your virtual environments, unified storage, right? It's ideal for VM data stores. Like Rich says, it's got the block, object, and file all in one. The high IOPS and the low latency with SSD and hybrid spinning disk hybrid configs. We can get up to 2 million IOPS, but as Richard said there, we've got a customer running it at 4.5 mil, so very, very high performing. Again, snapshots, replication, and encryption for enterprise-grade protection. Don't need to say much more on that. And then we offer VMware VAAI support and vCenter integration as well. And then for backup, DR, and archival of VMs, again, it's high-density, cost-effective hybrid storage with certified alliances with Veeams, Commvaults, ArcServes, you name it, will be there. And it's scalable to petabytes within minimal rack spaces, as already discussed. DVS, so quite an interesting one for us and for most out there. We do a lot in DVS from casinos, hotels, subways. Subways, cool, that's American, isn't it? Train stations. You can guess where that customer is, right? And airports as well. But they're surveillance systems generate terabytes to petabytes to even more petabytes of video footage. As we've mentioned, high density Unity platform can offer up to 20 petabytes in just 34U. So very, very impressive. Ideal for long retention periods and high resolution cameras. So as we've already mentioned in the media and entertainment space, that 4K, 8K footage. And yeah, just that first use case on this, we've got a citywide surveillance system out in the States that uses Unity with its 1,000 cameras, 1,000 plus cameras to store 90 days worth of footage. And that does everything they need, which is really impressive. High throughput. So for continuous recordings, that feeds into the pit above, but Nexsan arrays are optimized for sequential write performance, so perfect for that 24/7, 365 days recording, and it can support a simultaneous stream from hundreds or thousands of IP cameras. So the biggest use case we've got for this is a casino and hotel out in the States as well, mostly the casino, because if anyone's ever been, you are filmed as soon as you enter, well, probably as soon as you get outside, and then everywhere you go, or in the toilets maybe, you are filmed. So that casino uses Unity to handle, that 24/7 continuous recording for over 600 plus HD cameras without any dropped frames. And obviously as well, from a performance point of view, if the security team thinks someone's doing something dodgy or trying to cheat the casino, they can roll that back and quickly spin up that video on Unity. And then integration with VMS platforms. So as we said, partnerships, alliances are key with us. So we integrate seamlessly with industry-leading VMS platforms like Milestone and Genetec, and the certification and the validation that we do with them basically just ensures that plug-and-play performance and fast deployment for surveillance environments of any case or any scale, right? So or the end user knows if they work at that casino that Nexsan will do the job with that VMS platform, because that VMS platform have already gone, yep, Nexsan's brilliant. And on to the last one. So Richard sort of touched on it there, but backup and recovery storage. So that unified storage architecture with the multiple protocols we can run, block, file, and object in one single system. It's ideal for environments with mixed workloads. We've actually, had myself and Richard have had a few conversations recently where customers are almost future-proofing themselves by going, okay, we can do the the S3 piece, sorry, that object store piece. And we've got, multiple use cases of enterprises using Unity to sort of back up VMs via iSCSI, and then use sort of end user file shares via SMB, all on the same array. High performance, we've touched on that with the hybrid config, so SSD and spin-in. Again, built-in data protection. I'm just trying to read through this, guys, because we've only got a few minutes left. But built-in data protection and ransomware resilience. Cloud Connect is a key new feature for us as well, as most people, 90% of people you speak to now are in the cloud. Some are moving back due to higher costs or data breaches, but we can do that piece with the cloud. And then integration with backup software providers. So, like I said, fully certified with Veeam, Commvault, ArcServe, you name it, will be on that. And we're completely vendor agnostic as well. So whether you might be using a Rubrik or Cohesity or Veritas, even though we're not certified, we'll still be able to work very, very closely with them, and there's no issues from us. So just the last slide. So why partner with us? As I mentioned before, we're 100% channel focused. So there's no direct competition like one of our other competitors that I won't name, but we all know who it is. So we work solely with Titan. They're our sole distributor, and then the reseller, you guys ourselves. With that, we've got a very robust deal registration program. So once that deal is approved by myself or one of the team in the UK, you get complete deal protection against any other partners. So if another partner was to come in, as long as it's in your name and with you, that's perfect. You're the lead partner on that, and we'll only work with you guys. And that goes with sales and technical support, etc. You name it. And obviously with that comes preferential pricing and higher margins for registered deals, which is what we're all in it for. We've got an award-winning partner program. So like I said, with that approved deal reg, you've got sales and technical support. So you get the lovely Richard come on and do his thing. You get marketing tools and co-branded campaigns. So we've got loads of white papers, data sheets, all the collateral you guys need to really try and push this. MDF we can offer for joint events and promotions. We love getting our name and brand back out there. Obviously, it's been 26 years, but we still need to get the Nexsan name out there. And we can also offer personalized monthly or quarterly spiffs, 6 monthly, however you want to do it for the sales team to really get them going. We also have the Nexsan University, which is quite a key thing for us. So on there, from a channel point of view, there's sales and technical training. There's like accreditation at the end where you can, be a fully certified Nexsan salesperson, which is great. But then also as well, there are the how-to videos. If you have a customer that has a bit of an issue with an install, maybe they're swapping out a drive, etc., the how-to videos are on there where they can literally sign in. It's the videos aren't very long either, Rich, 10 minutes, not even that. They can look at that and go through it and work it out themselves. So we're really pushing the Nexsan University because there's a lot of great information on there. and we've got a proven track record, right? We wouldn't be in this industry 26 years if we weren't very good. So we've got all this channel and industry knowledge that we want to work with you guys and do it. So at the end of the day, we're very reliable, very durable, cost effective, as we've seen, and we want to build and hold those strong partner relationships that we can work with. So yes, so that is it as a whistle stop tour of Nexsan and Unity. But yeah, Gavin, is there anything else? Rich, anything else from you?
No, all good, all good. Unless there's any Q&A, although we are at
Yep.
the half an hour, but let's see if anyone wants to ask any questions or if there's anything
Yeah,
pressing.
got a couple of questions.
Perfect.
I think some you might have touched on as you went through this, but we'll
Okay, let's recap.
go through them again. Worth recapping. So first one is you said that Unity is best for small and medium businesses. Which of your solutions are the best suited for my larger enterprise customers?
Yeah, so the NV4, the introduction of that is for your kind of your smaller business. Yeah, SMB. But as you go up the range, so the NV6000 and certainly the NV10,000 for your more enterprise customers. So when you're looking at those larger deals and the more performant deals, start leaning towards the NV10,000. But we're here to help with that. So if there's any kind of grey area or something you're not sure about, you'll be surprised. We can help, and we won't always push the NV10,000. You'll be surprised. It may be that there's better value with the NV6000. But yeah, the NV4000 is more your entry level, and then the 6000, and then the NV10,000 for your enterprise.
Cool, thank you. This one is maybe touching on what you referenced earlier, Jonathan, with the maybe black spell, I guess. But is your financial position more secure now? We've had customers ask to avoid Nexsan owing to previous issues you've had.
Yes. We're in long short answer. Yes, we're all good. I mean, we yeah, we are. That's there you go. There's someone that knew Nexsan from bad. Yeah, so we're all the VC firm that own us over in the States are really well backed, and I mean we had a QBR Tuesday, and they're hiring out for 4 channel salespeople in the US. I think they've just taken over or hired someone in Brazil to run that region. We've invested in the Middle East with Titan, which is great, and the Nordics as well. So yes, there's
Yeah, South Africa as well,
South
big
Africa
growing
as
market
well.
for us. Africa as
Um,
well. Yeah, it's
and we have a couple of people out in the JPAC region as well. So yeah, it's financially, no, Nexan's in a lot better place than it
yeah. I
was.
mean, Nexsan always has been the owning parent
The
company.
parent company might not
That's,
think
that's
so.
a different
Yeah.
thing. That's why Nexsan is still around, right? So out of some ashes, the phoenix will always rise, and that's where Nexsan is.
Management love that question.
Okay, the next one is, do you have any use cases you could share? The ones you referred to look like North America mainly.
Yeah, we've got a few in the UK, so absolutely I can share. I mean, if whoever it was, if we fire over the details, absolutely I can share
Yeah, we've
those
got
use
some great
cases.
customers in the UK. We've got guys in St Thomas Hospital. They're a good partner of ours as well. They're one of the customers where they're using it for NAS at the moment. But they're looking to maybe transfer and move it for objects. So it's those kind of examples. We've got loads of them. Loads of them.
Bro. Next one is, a lot of my customers have cloud environments and are worried about security given the recent breaches and rising costs. How do you position Nexam for those customers?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, cloud's a funny one, isn't it? Because cloud is as secure as I guess you make it, as along with on-prem as well. But most of the guys on the call will know that. Cost seems to be the biggest thing at the moment. Repatriation of data, compliance, and all those kind of good things as well. So for me, I wouldn't say 100% no to cloud. It's always good to have a mix. I think I'm a big hybrid kind of person. So having something on-prem which is tangible, that has a nice flashing lights, you can look at it, and there's value to that. That's great. Working hand in hand with cloud is a good thing, right? It gives you that flexibility of deployment, but cost is the thing, and data is always growing. There's loads of people have many stories about where customers say, "Oh, we're doing some housekeeping. We're going to half the amount." It never really quite works out, or they start well and new data comes along and replaces it. Data just grows all the time. So to have the ability to have the options and think, right, well, we need something that is still can do S3, and maybe Cloud Connector can speak to the public cloud provider that we use. So it just offers that extra cost-effective option above and beyond cloud. It's maybe opinion based, but that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, we recently closed a deal, and it was around 500 terabytes, and they were fully in the cloud, but were moving back down because of the cost. I think it was the egress and ingress charges, and it was just becoming they were just spiraling out of control with it. And they just like the fact that, Richard there, they could do the whole S3 piece, but also they've got, a few offices in the UK, etc. But they were like, we just wanted somewhere we could physically see it and get to it and stick it in a rack. And it was, 4 U's, a 6K. So it wasn't that big, but they just wanted to be able to, get to it and see it. And they're not paying, massively yearly costs with us. They've obviously bought the unit, as Rich said. It's you buy the unit itself. There's no other additional licensing costs, no subscription fees. No, it's the unit and maybe some additional network cards and whatever, but that's it, right? Whereas I imagine with the cloud, it can get really, really out of control. So a lot of it was just trying to bring it back in house and be a bit more comfortable with where their data was and how they could get to it.
Yeah, and one thing we don't talk about enough at Nexsan is this is a UK company, really. It's owned by Canadians and there's an American HQ, but it's a UK-based company in Derby. The country of origin for everything that we do is the UK. You can go and see the platforms. We buy our chassis from somewhere in Scotland. And that's a nice thing. If you're talking about sustainability and locally grown organic, ingredients, that is what Nexsan is all about. And we don't really talk enough about that. So for UK
No.
partners and UK customers, that is something that we should sing about a lot more. And that's certainly a message that I think, you guys should take away with you is that we develop in the UK. We've got developers in Southampton. We create our own circuit boards. We do all of the engineering. We look at all of the kind of the performance of the heating and everything is done in the UK. All of that IP and all of that intelligence is here in this country, guys. So we should make the most of that and we should celebrate it.
Bro, thank you. Unsurprising question, I guess, but if we want to sign up as a partner, what are the key benefits within the Nexsan partner program?
We're rebuilding our partner program a little bit. So to sign up, you think you just go to the website and sign up as a partner there. But like I said, you get access to the whole deal registration program, access to myself and Rich, access to the MDF piece, the marketing, collateral, etc., everything like that. So it's there's your benefits right there.
Cool. And in relation to the Unity 4000, what third-party software is supported?
Yeah, pretty much all of it. because it's a good old-fashioned agnostic, storage device. If you can connect with SMB, NFS, S3, then we work with it. Yeah, the vendors can be quite funny with the certification, but we're certified against Veeam, for example, or Object file system as well. We'll work very closely with ArcServe, very closely with Commvault, very closely with Veeam, as I've already said, but things like milestones. So if there is a specific use case that you need us to certify against, the nice thing with Nexsan is we can be flexible and we can go ahead and do that. We use external consultancies to do that as well. So it's not just saying, oh, yes, we can do that. It's all proven. So yeah, pretty much you name it, we can work with it.
Bro. And last question I've got here is I've got customers that need to comply with PCI DSS and DORA. Does Nexsan comply with these regulations?
Yeah, so that's a big question really, because there's a lot of things that you can comply with there. So from the Unity range, there's a lot of things that we can tick off there for sure. Because for DORA example, you need to prove how cyber resilient you are, that you actually look after the data, even things like immutable snapshots, replication will tick a lot of the boxes there. If you want the ultimate in terms of compliancy, then I would look at more something like the Assurian. That software play where it's archival, it's chain of custody, it's blockchain immutability, it's replicated, it's highly available, it can protect you against ransomware. That particular solution has never lost a file, even under attack through ransomware. So if you're looking to move towards the more compliance kind of vector for what we do, I would definitely have the conversation with us and we can talk to you about Assurian. all day. It's a heavy topic, but it's an important one.
Bro. Thank you. That's all the questions that are in the chat. So
Right, thank you.
with that, we will end the webinar there. If you do have any other questions, you can fire them over to marketing@titandatasolutions.com and we'll get those answered and back to you. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you to Jonathan and Richard for presenting today.
Thank you.
Thank you again, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Cheers.
Cheers
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.